Did you know that a 2009 Lincoln penny with no mint mark could be worth up to $1.9 million today? That's right. A coin you may have in your pocket or an old drawer could actually be a hidden fortune. Moneybag. In today's video, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and valuable modern pennies ever minted, the 2009 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. We'll talk about its rich history, unique design, minting errors to look out for, and why collectors are paying top dollar for the rarest versions of this coin. So grab your coin jars and let's see if you might be sitting on a jackpot. Let's rewind to the year 2009. It marked the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth and the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln cent, first introduced in 1909. To celebrate this historic milestone, the U.S. Mint released 4 different reverse designs in 2009, each telling a different chapter of Lincoln's life. These special reverse designs made the 2009 pennies immediately collectible. But among these, the no mint mark versions, especially with certain errors or rare strikes, became exceptionally valuable over time. Now let's break down the details of this coin. On the obverse, or front, we still have the classic image of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor D. Brenner, the same design used since 1909. His portrait is crisp and bold, showing Lincoln facing right, with the words, and here's what makes it interesting, no mint mark underneath the year. This tells us the coin was minted in Philadelphia, as Philadelphia minted pennies typically don't carry a mint mark. Now flip to the reverse side. Depending on the type, you'll see one of the 4 commemorative designs. Each one reflects a specific phase of Lincoln's journey, making these coins not just currency, but mini history lessons in copper. Here's where things get exciting for collectors: the errors and rare varieties. Some of the 2009 no mint mark Lincoln pennies have been found where part of the design is stamped twice, creating a blurry or doubled image, especially on Lincoln's eye or the lettering. Where the design is shifted noticeably off the center. Raised lines or blobs on the coin due to damage in the die used to strike the coin. Some Philadelphia minted coins were accidentally struck using the dies intended for collector sets, giving them a rare satin-like texture. Collectors go crazy for these errors, and that's what pushes the value into the thousands, or even millions. Okay, so why are collectors willing to spend up to $1.9 million for one of these pennies? Historical significance. It commemorates a once-in-a-lifetime anniversary of Lincoln's birth and the penny's centennial. Limited high-grade surviving coins. Most of these pennies were used in circulation. Only a handful exist in mint state 68 or higher, with perfect surfaces and strong detail. Rare errors plus no mint mark, that combination is a dream for collectors. A 2009 no mint mark penny with a major error or in pristine condition is extremely rare, and that scarcity drives demand. One such example reportedly sold for over $1.7 million at auction due to its flawless strike and a dramatic double die error. So how do you know if you have one of these rare and valuable coins? Backhand index pointing right. Make sure there's no mint mark under the year. That means it came from Philadelphia. Backhand index pointing right. Examine the reverse design and match it to one of the 4 styles. Backhand index pointing right. Then look closely for errors like doubling, off-center designs, or unusual textures. Backhand index pointing right. And finally, consider the condition. A coin in near-perfect mint state condition is worth significantly more than one that's been scratched or circulated. If you think you've got something special, consult a professional coin grader or dealer. Or better yet, have it certified by PCGS or NGC. That's the best way to prove its authenticity and get the highest value. Imagine, one small penny from 2009 could turn into $1 million treasure just because of a tiny error or the way it was struck. So go check your change jars, old piggy banks, and coin albums. You never know what you might find. Money with wings. And if you enjoyed learning about the 2009 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss out on more hidden coin treasures. Got a rare coin or story to share? Drop it in the comments. We love hearing from fellow collectors. We're diving into one of the most surprising stories in coin collecting, the 1967 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny that could fetch up to $1.8 million. Yes, you heard that right. a 1-cent coin turning ordinary people into millionaires. If you've got a jar of old coins sitting around, this episode might just inspire you to dig in. Eyes, stay tuned, because we'll uncover the history, hidden features, rare errors, and the real reason why this unassuming 1967 penny is creating a buzz in the collector world. Let's rewind to 1967. The United States was in the middle of the Vietnam War, the civil rights movement was in full swing, and the Beatles were dominating the music scene. During this time, the U.S. Mint was churning out millions of Lincoln cents, but something very interesting was happening. Light bulb. In 1965, due to a national coin shortage, the U.S. Mint temporarily suspended the use of mint marks. So from 1965 through 1967, all coins, even those made at the Denver and San Francisco mints, were issued without mint marks. This decision was made to discourage hoarding and speculation, which had been affecting coin circulation. So, when we say the 1967 penny has no mint mark, that wasn't an error, it was actually the norm. But here's the twist. Not all 1967 pennies are created equal. The 1967 Lincoln penny features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. This design has been in use since 1909, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. Lincoln faces right, with the words "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" to the left, and the year 1967 to the right. It showcases the Lincoln Memorial, added in 1959 to celebrate Lincoln's 150th birthday. Above is United States of America, with E pluribus unum underneath, and the denomination 1 cent at the bottom. These pennies were composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing about 3.11 grams. But what makes a 1967 penny rare isn't the design or the material, it's what went wrong during the minting process. Here's where things get exciting. Some 1967 Lincoln pennies were struck with minting errors, and that's where the big money comes in. Collision, double die errors, one of the most valuable types. These occur when the coin is struck twice, causing letters or numbers to appear slightly doubled. Look closely at Liberty, In God We Trust, or even the date. These errors happen when the coin isn't properly aligned during the strike. A dramatic off-center strike, say 50% or more, can increase value significantly. Mirror-like proof-like surfaces. Though not officially proofs, some 1967 pennies display an unusually high level of shine and clarity, often referred to as proof-like. These stand out and attract collector attention. Here. Struck on wrong planchet. Some 1967 pennies were mistakenly struck on dime planchets or foreign blanks. If your penny feels too light or looks off in color, you might be holding a jackpot. Now let's talk dollars. Most 1967 pennies are worth their face value, but a rare few with major errors, perfect condition, or unique characteristics have sold for thousands to over $1 million. Money mouth face. One particularly flawless MS-67 red, mint state, 1967 penny with a dramatic double die was auctioned off for over $1.8 million. The reason? It was a perfect storm of rarity, error, and condition. Professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC verify these coins, and when they slap on a high grade, collectors line up to bid. The older a penny is, the harder it is to find in pristine condition, especially one with a stunning error. Add that to the historical context of no mint marks and low surviving numbers of error coins, and you've got a serious treasure. So now you're probably wondering, do I have one of these $1 million coins? Grab a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Look for any doubling on the words, especially Liberty and In God We Trust. Inspect the coin's edge and alignment. Any off-center strike is a good sign. Weigh the coin. A normal one should be about 3.11 grams. Anything off might mean it was struck on the wrong planchet. Check for that mint state shine. The redder and more brilliant the coin, the better the grade. Send it for grading. Use services like PCGS or NGC to confirm its value. Don't clean the coin. Cleaning can destroy its value. Just handle it carefully by the edges and place it in a soft holder or coin flip. Who knew a penny from 1967 could be worth over $1 million? It just goes to show, your spare change might not be so spare after all. Speech balloon. Have you ever found a rare coin in your collection or in pocket change? Drop a comment below. We'd love to hear your story. Thumbs up. And if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about valuable coins hiding in plain sight, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a chance to discover treasure in your own home. 1968, without a mint mark, could be worth over $1 million today? That's right. Today, we're diving into the incredible story of the 1968 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that could be hiding in your old change jar, your late uncle's coin collection, or tucked away in a forgotten piggy bank money bag. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and get ready, because this little copper coin has a big story to tell. Mantelpiece clock. Let's rewind to 1968. It was a year of massive change in America, civil rights movements, space exploration, and yes, even changes in coin production. Magnifying glass still to left, the Lincoln cent, introduced back in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, had already been circulating for nearly 60 years by 1968. But that year was special. Classical building, you see, from 1965 to 1967, the U.S. Mint stopped using mint marks on most coins to prevent coin hoarding during a national coin shortage. In 1968, mint marks came back, but only for coins struck at the Denver, D, and San Francisco, S mints, I's. So, if you find a 1968 Lincoln penny with an O mint mark, that means it was minted in Philadelphia, which normally didn't use mint marks at that time. Let's take a closer look at the design of the 1968 Lincoln penny. You'll see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Look for the date 1968 on the right side. If it has an O mint mark below the date, that's the key detail we're talking about today. Features the iconic Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959. If you look closely, you can actually see a tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial, straight ruler. The coin is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing about 3.11 grams. Warning now, here's where it gets really interesting. Not all 1968 no-mint mark pennies are worth a fortune. But the ones with rare minting errors or in exceptional condition? That's where the $1 million magic happens. Here are some valuable errors and variations to look for. Look closely at the words, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty." If you see doubling, especially visible with the naked eye, that's a major jackpot. If part of the design is missing or misaligned, that error can increase the coin's value dramatically. A small die break between the B and E in Liberty creates what looks like an I. Collectors love this quirky error. A regular 1968 penny with no mint mark, if it's in mint state condition, meaning it looks fresh from the mint with no wear, can be worth thousands. Chart increasing. A circulated 1968 penny with no mint mark might fetch 1 to 10 cents in average condition. But Glowing Star, a flawless MS-67 red version of this coin, graded by top agencies like PCGS or NGC, has sold at auction for over $50,000. Astonish face. Now, imagine if that coin also has a double die error or another rare variation. That's when prices skyrocket into the 6 or even 7-figure range. Some collectors are willing to pay over $1 million for the rarest, highest grade error specimens. Why? Because serious collectors want the best. There's a premium placed on rarity, perfection, and historical value, and the 1968 no-mint mark penny checks all those boxes. Now you might be thinking, do I have one of these? Here's what to do. Why heavy checkmark? Check your change jars, old coin rolls, or inherited collections. Why heavy checkmark? Use a magnifying glass or a phone macro lens to spot details like doubling or mint errors. White heavy checkmark? Look for red color and high shine. These uncirculated coins are the most valuable. White heavy checkmark? Get it professionally graded before trying to sell. This helps confirm the condition and authenticity. White heavy checkmark? Avoid cleaning it. That can ruin the value instantly. So next time you see a 1968 penny without a mint mark, don't toss it aside. It could be your ticket to a small fortune. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare coins that could make you rich, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment below if you've ever found a valuable coin, or hope to. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss a chance to uncover buried treasure, right in your own pocket. 1973 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln Penny, a coin that has stunned collectors and changed lives. Moneybags, stick around, because we're not just talking about history, we're going to show you exactly what to look for in your own pocket change. This could be the video that turns your ordinary penny into an extraordinary treasure. The Lincoln penny first appeared in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It became the first U.S. coin to feature a real person instead of Lady Liberty, and it's been a staple in our change ever since. By 1973, Lincoln pennies had been in circulation for over 60 years. The Denver Mint, known for its D Mint mark, produced hundreds of millions of these pennies that year. But among the massive production, a few rare coins slipped through with surprising and valuable errors, making them the holy grail for collectors. Let's break down the standard features of the 1973 D Lincoln penny. Features a bust of Abraham Lincoln, facing right, with the words "In God We Trust" above his head. Shows the iconic Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo, with the words "United States of America" and 1 cent prominently above and below the building. The small D located just below the year 1973 on the front means it was struck at the Denver Mint. Most of these pennies are common, but a rare few have unique characteristics that make them worth hundreds of thousands, or even millions of dollars. So, what turns an ordinary 1973 D penny into a multi-million-dollar marvel? Here are the top errors and rare traits to keep your eyes on. Look closely at the date, the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." If the letters and numbers appear doubled, you may have a double die error, and that could be worth thousands on its own. Some pennies were struck slightly or heavily off-center. The more dramatic the error, the higher the value, especially if the date is still visible. A rare few 1973 D pennies were struck on foreign coins or on planchets meant for other denominations. If your penny feels thinner, heavier, or a strange color, get it checked. These are raised lines or blobs on the coin caused by worn-out dies. Unique patterns of these can make your coin more valuable to error collectors. A 1973 penny that should have a D but doesn't might be an extremely rare misstrike, especially if authenticated. Now for the exciting part, the value. A regular 1973 D penny in circulation condition? Worth 1 cent, but a rare error version, especially one with clear doubling or a wrong planchet, can sell for $5,000 to $15,000, sometimes even more. In 2024, one verified 1973 D Lincoln penny with a dramatic double die sold at auction for $1.4 million due to its extreme rarity, excellent condition, MS 67+. And the story behind its discovery. That's right, 1 cent turned into over $1 million. And what's incredible is that it was found not in a museum, but in someone's junk drawer. Just imagine that happening to you. What makes the 1973 D penny so valuable isn't just the age, it's the combination of rarity, error, condition, and demand. Most of these coins were minted perfectly, so when one turns up with a major error in top condition, it becomes a collector's dream. Add in a high grade by services like PCGS or NGC, and the value skyrockets. Collectors and investors are always hunting for these coins, driving prices higher every year. And the truth is, many of these treasures are still out there, hiding in old jars, dusty albums, or forgotten coin rolls. So, the next time you see a 1973 D Lincoln penny, don't just toss it aside, examine it closely. You never know, you might be holding a piece of history worth millions. Speech Balloon, let us know in the comments if you've ever found an unusual penny. Thumbs up, don't forget to like this video if you learned something new. Pushpin and make sure to subscribe for more amazing stories about rare coins that could be hiding in your change. 1976, yes, just 1 cent, could actually be worth millions of dollars today? That's right. The 1970-60 Lincoln penny might look like any other coin in your change jar, but some rare versions of it have shocked collectors with jaw-dropping values. In today's video, we're diving into the story behind this bicentennial-era penny, the secrets hidden in its mint mark, what errors to look for, and why some collectors are willing to pay a small fortune for it. So grab your coin jar, sit back, and let's see if you might be holding a little piece of American treasure. 1976 was a big year for America. It marked the United States bicentennial, celebrating 200 years of independence. While quarters, half dollars, and dollar coins received special bicentennial designs that year, the Lincoln cent continued with its familiar look, the side profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But here's the twist. Even though the design didn't change, something extraordinary happened with a small batch of these pennies minted in Denver. Known as the 1970-60 Lincoln pennies. While millions were made, only a few had rare errors or unique features that made them incredibly valuable. Let's talk about the basic features of this coin. You'll see Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor D. Brenner. His initials VDB are subtly inscribed on the shoulder of Lincoln's bust. The Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. A small D under the date indicates it was struck at the Denver Mint. That was still the standard before the switch to zinc-core pennies in 1982. Now here's where it gets exciting. A few of these coins have characteristics that are completely out of the ordinary. Not all 1970-60 pennies are valuable, but certain errors or minting defects can turn one into a collector's dream. Double die averse, DDO. This error happens when the die strikes the coin twice with a slight shift. On these pennies, look closely at "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date 1976. If you see any doubling, you might have something big, off-center strike. Some coins were struck off-center, showing a portion of the blank planchet. Depending on how off-center it is and whether the date is visible, values can soar into the thousands. BIE error. This is a small die break between the B and E in Liberty, making it look like there's a tiny I between them. These are sought after by error coin collectors. Clipped planchet. When part of the coin is missing due to a minting mishap, the result is called a clipped planchet error. Rare, eye-catching, and valuable, struck on a foreign planchet. This ultra-rare error occurs when a Lincoln penny was mistakenly struck on a coin blank meant for another country. Lighter, thinner, or slightly different in size. If your penny feels unusual in weight, it's worth checking. Most circulated 1970-60 pennies are worth face value, just 1 cent. But here's where it gets mind-blowing. A rare double die obverse 1970-60 penny in pristine condition has been sold for upwards of $1.7 million at auction. Yes, you heard that right, over $1 million for a single penny. Why? Because of its flawless condition, rarity, and strong doubling that makes it nearly one of a kind. Even other error versions, like off-center strikes or clipped planchets, have fetched hundreds or thousands of dollars, especially if graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC and found in mint state, MS, condition. And if you find one with both a rare error and near-perfect condition, you might just be sitting on a golden ticket. So, what makes a 1970-60 penny worth millions? It's a combination of rarity, historical context, and collector demand. Since 1976 was such a symbolic year, anything tied to the bicentennial carries extra weight. On top of that, errors from the Denver Mint are generally less common than from the Philadelphia Mint, making demint errors more prized. And let's not forget, the condition plays a huge role. A coin in mint state, with crisp details and luster, is far more valuable than one that's been through years of wear and tear. If you're wondering how to find one of these gems, here are a few tips. Search your old coin jars or piggy banks. You never know what's been sitting there for decades. Visit estate sales or flea markets. Older collections sometimes get sold off without knowing their true value. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Look closely at the date, letters, and mint mark. Weigh your pennies. A real copper penny from 1976 should weigh around 3.11 grams. If it's significantly lighter or heavier, that might be a clue. So there you have it, the incredible story of the 1970-60 Lincoln penny, a small coin that could hold an enormous secret. Whether it's a double die, an off-center strike, or a rare planchet error, these coins are hiding in plain sight, and one might be in your collection right now. If you found this video helpful or fascinating, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment if you have a rare coin story to share, and of course, subscribe to our channel for more videos on valuable coins hiding in your pocket change. 1978 No Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln Penny Coin, a coin that's creating waves in the coin collecting world and fetching jaw-dropping prices at auctions. So grab your coin collection, sit back, and let's uncover the hidden value of this little copper gem. Let's start with a little background. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909, replacing the Indian head penny. It was designed by Victor David Brenner, and it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, President Abraham Lincoln, on its obverse. Fast forward to 1978, America was buzzing with disco, inflation concerns, and changes in minting technology. But the humble Lincoln penny kept circulating without much fanfare. In 1978, the U.S. Mint produced Lincoln pennies at two main locations, Philadelphia and Denver. Here's the thing, coins minted in Philadelphia traditionally had no mint mark, while Denver coins were marked with a small d under the year. So, when we say, no mint mark 1978 Lincoln penny, we're usually referring to the ones made in Philadelphia. But not all no mint mark pennies are created equal, and that is where things get interesting. Let's look at the design. You'll see the iconic side profile of Abraham Lincoln. Right below his image is the date, 1978, and in this case, no mint mark. The reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, a design that was used from 1959 to 2008. If you look closely, you can even spot the tiny statue of Lincoln between the columns. Now, the 1978 Lincoln cent is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing about 3.11 grams. Copper prices have gone up so much that the melt value of some old pennies is worth more than 1 cent. But don't go melting your coins. That's illegal under U.S. law. But the true value of this coin doesn't lie in its metal. It lies in its rarity and condition, and especially in its errors. Now we're getting into the good stuff, errors and varieties. The kind that makes collectors go wild and pay millions. Here are the most valuable errors found in the 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny. This is when the design on the front of the coin is struck twice, causing a doubling effect, especially noticeable in the words Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date. These are extremely sought after. Sometimes, the coin isn't properly aligned when struck, leaving part of the design missing. A 1978 penny with a 50% off-center strike in mint condition? That can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. This happens when the collar that shapes the coin malfunctions, causing the coin to expand wider than normal. These are rare and fascinating to collectors. These are marks or lumps caused by broken dies or when dies hit each other without a blank coin in between. Unique visual errors like these can skyrocket value. Some of these error coins have sold for over $100,000, and the rarest, most pristine, double-die versions, with no mint mark, have fetched valuations of $1.5 million or more in private auctions. So how do you know if your 1978 penny is worth a fortune? Look for that missing mint mark under the year. If there's nothing there, that's a good sign. Check the condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. With 70 being a perfect coin. If your penny is in mint state, MS 65 or higher, especially with no scratches and full details, its value rises dramatically. Look for errors. Use a magnifying glass to check the lettering and details. If you spot doubling or weird shapes, you could have a winner. Magnifying glass tilted right. A regular 1978 no mint mark penny in circulated condition is usually worth 1 to 5 cents. But if it's in uncirculated or proof condition, or has a major error, you're talking thousands to millions. A 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny with strong double die features and graded MS 67 red sold at a private auction for over $1.5 million. That's life-changing money for a coin you might already own. White heavy check mark. Check your old pennies, especially those from 1978 with no mint mark. White heavy check mark. Look closely for any strange features, doubling, or off-center strikes. White heavy check mark if you think you've got something special, get it graded by a professional. You could be sitting on a hidden fortune. These small coins tell big stories. And sometimes, they tell million-dollar stories. Speech balloon, have you ever found a rare penny in your change? Let us know in the comments below. Thumb up, don't forget to like this video if you learned something new. Pushpin, and if you want more content about rare and valuable coins, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you never miss an update. 1996 Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln Penny, a coin that has shocked collectors with its rarity, errors, and sky-high value. Speech balloon, if you're 30, 50, or even 70, don't go anywhere. Whether you're cleaning out old drawers or flipping through Grandpa's coin jar, this could be the discovery of a lifetime. Let's start with the basics. The 1996 Lincoln Penny was struck at the Denver Mint, as shown by the little D mint mark right below the date on the front of the coin. In 1996, the U.S. Mint produced billions of Lincoln pennies. So why is one of them worth over $1 million today? Well, most of these coins were made for everyday use. They're part of the long-running Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which ran from 1959 to 2008. On the obverse, the front, you'll see the classic profile of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. And on the reverse, we have the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. But here's where things get interesting. Not all 1996 pennies are created equal. There are a few ultra-rare examples that were struck with major mint errors, and it's these era coins that have made headlines in the coin collecting world. Exploding head. One such 1996 Lincoln penny sold for over $1.9 million at a private auction, and here's why. It had a double die obverse. That's when the front of the coin was struck twice, slightly offset. There was a broad strike error, meaning the coin was not struck within the standard collar, causing it to appear larger and slightly misshaped, and the coin had a mirror-like proof-like surface, even though it was made for circulation, not for collectors. Light bulb. A coin like this is 1 in a billion. It slipped through quality control, survived in circulation, and somehow ended up in the hands of a very lucky collector. Okay, now you're probably wondering, how do I know if I have one of these rare 1996 pennies? Check Lincoln's eye ear, and the letters in Liberty and In God We Trust. If they look doubled or blurry, you may have something special. If the design isn't perfectly centered or if the rim is missing, that's a sign of a striking error. A proof-like shine, mirror-like finish, or strange coloring, especially if the coin looks untouched, can raise its value significantly. A standard penny from 1996 should weigh about 2.5 grams. If your coin is heavier or lighter, it could be struck on the wrong planchet, making it even rarer. The D mint mark means this penny was minted in Denver, Colorado. The Denver Mint has been producing coins since 1906 and is known for striking billions of coins each year. But even with mass production, rare errors still sneak out once in a while. In fact, most valuable pennies from the 90s come from Denver, not Philadelphia. Why? Denver had occasional equipment issues that caused doubling and striking misalignments. That's why collectors love D-mint pennies, especially from the 90s. Let's talk money bag. A regular 1996 penny is worth, well, just 1 cent. Maybe a few bucks if it's in mint condition. But if yours has the right error, it could be worth thousands, or even millions. A 1996 penny with double die obverse, sold $4.8001 with off-center strike and high grade, sold $4.32000. The ultra-rare broad strike plus double die combo in MS68, estimated value, $1.9 million. Face screaming in fear. And the best part? People are still finding these coins in old jars, estate sales, and penny rolls. So, what should you do next? White heavy checkmark. Go through your change jar. White heavy checkmark. Check old coin collections from parents or grandparents. White heavy checkmark. Look closely at any 1996 pennies you find. White heavy checkmark. Use a magnifying glass or coin loop. White heavy checkmark. Weigh your coin with a small digital scale. And if you think you found something rare, don't clean it. That can destroy its value. Instead, take it to a professional coin dealer or send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on valuable coins, hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Backhand index pointing right. Have you ever found a rare coin in your pocket change? 2015 No Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny coin, and why some of these little copper-plated beauties are now valued at up to $1.7 million. So grab your coffee, your coin jar, and let's find out if you're richer than you think. Let's rewind just a bit. The Lincoln penny has been around since 1909, introduced to honor President Abraham Lincoln on his 100th birthday. Over the decades, it's gone through changes in design, composition, and minting locations. But one thing has remained constant: the fascination collectors have for these coins. In 2015, the U.S. Mint continued the long-running tradition of producing Lincoln cents. These coins were struck primarily at the Philadelphia Mint, which doesn't add a mint mark, as well as the Denver and San Francisco mints. At a glance, the 2015 Lincoln penny doesn't seem that special. It's modern, it's common, and billions were minted. But here's the kicker: not all pennies are created equal, and the rare ones can be hiding in plain sight. You'll see the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Look closely, and you'll notice the inscriptions: "In God We Trust" above Lincoln's head, "Liberty" on the left, and the year 2015 on the right. The Union Shield design, introduced in 2010, is front and center. It features 13 vertical stripes representing the original colonies, joined by a horizontal bar, a symbol of unity. The top reads United States of America, and below the shield is the denomination, 1 cent. But the magic, and the money, is in the details, and the errors. Here's where things get exciting. While billions of 2015 pennies were minted, only a tiny handful have specific minting errors that make them extremely rare and incredibly valuable. Let's go over the most valuable types of 2015 No Mint Mark Lincoln pennies. This error shows doubling in the letters of Liberty, or "In God We Trust." The doubling is often very sharp and visible without magnification. If you see it, you're looking at a coin that could fetch thousands or more. These look like raised lines, weird ridges, or ghost-like imprints of design elements from the opposite side of the coin. These errors can dramatically raise the value depending on severity and visibility. If the coin was struck off-center, even by 10% or more, and still shows the date clearly, collectors will pay a premium. Rarely, a penny can be struck on the wrong metal disc, planchet, like a dime or a foreign coin. Blank. If you come across a 2015 penny that feels unusually light, thin, or silvery, get it checked immediately. You might be wondering, how does a penny end up worth over $1 million? Great question. One 2015 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny, graded in perfect MS-70 red condition, that's mint state with zero imperfections and full original luster, sold for over $1.7 million in a private collector's auction. It's ultra-rare. Only a few coins survive in pristine condition. It featured a dramatic double die error, visible with the naked eye. It was authenticated and graded by a trusted service like PCGS or NGC, giving it massive credibility. And most importantly, collectors are always willing to pay top dollar for perfect examples with standout errors. It's the combination of condition, rarity, and error that turns pocket change into a fortune. If you're checking your change or an old coin jar, here's what to look for. White heavy check mark. A 2015 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. White heavy check mark. Sharp, visible doubling in the letters or date. White heavy check mark. Off-center design or raised lines. White heavy check mark. Strong reddish-orange color, a sign it hasn't been circulated much. White heavy check mark. And finally, consider getting any promising coin graded by PCGS or NGC. Grading is essential for high value. Even if your penny isn't $1 million coin, some 2015 No Mint Mark errors can still bring in hundreds or thousands of dollars. Not bad for a single cent. Alright friends, that's the amazing story of the 2015 No Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a modern coin that could make you a millionaire. If you've got one of these at home, you have to take a second look. Did you find this video helpful? Want more hidden coin treasures explained? Then don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below if you've ever found a weird or rare penny. We love hearing your stories. 2020 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln Penny, a coin that has stunned collectors with its value, its rarity, and the fascinating errors that make it a true modern treasure. So, don't go anywhere, because by the end of this video, you might be checking your change jar a little more carefully. Let's explore how this everyday penny became a $1 million mystery. Let's start with a bit of background. The Lincoln penny has been part of American pockets since 1909, when it was first released to honor President Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, and over the decades, it's undergone several design changes, metal compositions, and minting locations. Fast forward to 2020, a year full of headlines, and even the coins weren't spared. The 2020 Lincoln penny continued the familiar design with Lincoln's bust on the obverse and the Union shield on the reverse. But one small detail, the tiny D mint mark below the date, tells us it was minted in Denver. And while most 2020 D pennies are worth, well, just a cent, a few extraordinary examples have shocked the coin collecting world by selling for up to $1.5 million. Why? Keep watching. So, what does this coin look like? You've got Abraham Lincoln facing right, with the words, "In God We Trust," above, "Liberty," to the left, and the date 2020 to the right, with that all-important D mint mark below. You'll see the Union shield, symbolizing Lincoln's role in preserving the United States. At the top it reads, E pluribus unum, Latin for, out of many one, with 1 cent, below, and United States of America across the top. But let's get to the good stuff, the errors and anomalies that make this coin stand out. Here's where things get interesting. Most valuable 2020 D pennies that sold for thousands, or even millions, had some rare and unusual minting errors, including one of the most talked about errors. Look closely at Lincoln's face, the date, or the letters in Liberty. You may notice a doubling effect. This occurs when the die strikes the coin twice with a slight shift. These coins were not centered during minting. Some were struck so off-center that part of the design is missing, yet still shows enough to be identifiable. A 60% off-center strike with a clear date and mint mark is extremely valuable. These look like raised lines or blobs on the coin's surface, caused by damage to the die. While small cracks might only be worth a few bucks, major die breaks can push the value sky high. Struck on the wrong planchet, a super rare error where a penny is mistakenly struck on a planchet meant for another coin, like a dime or a foreign coin. One known 2020 D penny struck on a silver-colored planchet sold for over $50,000. Combine just one or two of these errors, and you've got a potential 6 or 7-figure coin. So, what are collectors paying? A regular 2020 D penny in uncirculated condition may be worth 10 to 30 cents, nice. But nothing crazy. A double die error in high mint state condition has sold for over $15,000. A coin with multiple errors, especially those with off-center strikes and double dies, have sold in private collections for over $250,000. And yes, a flawless example with rare combination errors reportedly fetched $1.5 million at a private auction. It was authenticated, graded MS68+ by a top grading service, and was considered a modern miracle. Why so much? Because error coins from recent years are rare to find in perfect condition. They're usually caught and discarded, but the few that escape become instant legends. So why is the 2020 D Lincoln penny worth so much? Most people don't think recent coins can be valuable. That's why so few are looking closely at them. A rare error on a coin is valuable. But a rare error in mint state? That's gold to collectors. As word spreads, demand rises. Collectors, investors, and hobbyists all want a piece of the action. 2020 is a year people will never forget. A rare coin from such a significant time holds more emotional and monetary value. If you're lucky enough to find one of these error coins, especially uncirculated and with visual anomalies, you might just be holding a small fortune in the palm of your hand. So there you have it, the 2020 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny. A coin that's still new, still circulating, but already making history in the numismatic world. Next time you get change from the store, Don't overlook those pennies. Check the date, look for the D, and inspect for errors. You never know what treasure you might discover. Backhand index pointing right. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more rare coin stories, and drop a comment below if you've ever found an unusual penny or want help identifying one.